Hey guys, once again, Mike here with CEP TV, coming at you with another video in our Buyer's Guide series. Today we're going to be specifically talking about rock charges. Now, most people have no idea if there's going to be a rock charge. Guess what? We as the contractor don't know either. So we're not charging you for them on the front end. We're only dealing with them if they come up. Now in Texas, we see all kinds of different material, lots of clay that's out there, and every once in a while we run into rock, even if you didn't see it on your neighbor's property on this side or on that side. It may be on your property. We won't know until we dig, and once we do and we find it, it's got to be dealt with. We're coming out to your property with a machine called an excavator. We're bringing the right size version of that to your property to dig out and prepare for the hole that we're going to put the pool in. When we come down to a situation that might be rock, and there are several different kinds, including like a caliche that has some sand into it, or bedrock, blue rock, gray rock, or even limestone. In that situation, that excavator isn't designed to get through that material. If we encounter something that we can't get through without damaging the machine, we're going to end up having to get either a separate attachment for that machine or a machine that has that attachment already attached to it. As the contractor, it's not unreasonable or unfair for the contractor to charge you for this because it's an unforeseen expense that's a very real time-consuming process. Most contractors are not planning for rock on every job, so they're not bringing these attachments out there. And so if we encounter rock on your job, we're actually renting that machine or that attachment, and that machine rental or attachment rental comes with a minimum. They're charging the contractor per day, not per hour, to use that attachment. We don't get a choice if we get through it in 20 minutes to only get billed 20 minutes, meaning that we also have to include the same kind of minimum to you as the customer. So what you're going to see typically on rock charges is a 6-hour minimum. This is going to cover us for that machine or attachment rental. It's also going to cover us for the time it takes the contractor to go down a little bit deeper and fight through. Typically, we're able to get about 8 to 10 inches at a time hammered out. Then we have to switch back to a bucket, pull that loose material out, and then go back to the hammer until we get to the depth that we need to. Also, you should be prepared for about 1 extra load of imported material to fill in those nooks and crannies. This can be frustrating sometimes as a customer when you look and you see that your rock charges are 6-hour minimum and they only needed to get the last foot, which only took an hour. Those are costs that are uncontrollable by the general contractor. Here's where it becomes a problem. When a crooked contractor comes in, oftentimes they're counting on the ignorance of the customer with this particular item to be able to throw a few extra $1,000s on it and throw it in their pocket. That's not fair to you, and that's why I want you to understand kind of where the ballparks of these should be. We are seeing somewhere in the neighborhood of about $3,500 for basic 6-hour minimums on rock charges. There are additional costs if it goes over 6 hours, and I would say probably 5 to 7% of the jobs we've seen in the last 700 have actually incurred over 6 hours worth of time to get through. It's not a normal thing, but it does happen at times, and it's fair for the contractor to charge you the extra money for those hourly rates afterwards. If it exceeds 8 hours, they actually have to rent that attachment or machine for another full day. And so it becomes an extra amount of money that comes into that as well. You need to be able to ask your contractor and know from the beginning, what are those costs going to be should we encounter rock? And then you also need to plan for that possibility in your budget. It's not a great idea to simply look at foundations that are done around your area or maybe your own foundation if you just had a new house that's built. It's not a good idea to gauge it off of barbecue pits or things that you're doing because typically people are going less than 3 feet in the ground for any of the projects around their house, including their foundations, but we're going somewhere on average of 4.5 to about 7 feet deep. Chances are we're going to be the deepest excavation that takes place on your property in North Texas, and therefore we may encounter rock you never encountered when we go to put in your pool. A good rule of thumb in the buyer's guide is to always plan whatever your project to be to have an extra 20% buffer on the project to take care of these kinds of items. Now, we're not looking to hit rock. It's a nightmare for the contractor. Nobody wants to take the rock. It can be difficult to get rid of. So trust me, none of us are looking to find that problem, but you should be prepared if you're in a North Texas area that this could indeed be an issue. And if that's the case, having that extra money put aside in your budget is just wise planning. Having said that, hopefully this explains to you what rock charges are and why we as contractors have to charge them. And hopefully it also gives you a pretty good gauge to know that if you have a contractor that's working on your pool trying to charge you $8,000 or $10,000 for a 6-hour minimum rock charge, that's a little bit unfair and probably getting taken advantage of in that situation. We want to make sure this dream stays a dream and doesn't turn into a nightmare, so make sure you check out the rest of our Buyer's Guide series for all the helpful videos to give you the information you need to know before your project gets underway. Guys, we'll see you on the next one.